Welcome back to Watch What You Say podcast, episode lucky number 13. I don't actually believe in luck. I actually believe in hard work, determination, commitment, and consistency. But again, it's episode 13, and our title is After the Fall, Who You Become Next, right? So let's be honest. Everybody talks about success, but nobody talks enough about what happens when you mess up, right? Because we're all human and we all are going to make mistakes because that's just the nature. That's just of, being human, right? Today, we are talking about life after our mistakes. Because one moment, one decision, one misstep can make you question everything about yourself. So listen, hear me clearly. You are not your mistake. You are not your lowest day. You are not the version of yourself that got it wrong. People attach their identity to failure. Shame versus responsibility. Owning it without becoming it. You made a mistake, but you're not a mistake. I'm going to say that again for myself, for Mike, and for the people in the back, the back. You are not a mistake. You made a mistake, but you're not the mistake. So listen, what you say after you fall matters most, right? The real danger isn't the mistake. It's the story you begin telling yourself as a result of the mistake. The negative self-talk after failure, language that traps versus language that frees. Reframing your narrative. Again, you guys know, you've been with me for a long time, that I'm in therapy, right? And so in being in therapy, you're forced to look at yourself in ways that you don't want to, right? And I will go on record saying that I am not a crier. And that's my own thing that I'm working through, but I will say that there are times when I am not the kindest to myself after I've made a mistake, right? I am so hard on myself, much harder than I should be. And my therapist actually pointed out to me that, transparency moment, right? That whenever I'm talking about myself and a mistake that I've made, that there's far greater emphasis on who I am as a result of those decisions, and not the emphasis on what I've learned after repairing myself or repairing relationships from the mistakes that were made. And my therapist also said that I like to crack jokes when I am trying to get to the honest part of dealing with myself, how I talk to myself about myself when I make said mistakes. And so I say that to say I know that I'm not the only one. And no, you don't have to go to therapy to figure this out. I'm just in it because being an artist, I also need that outlet, especially being an actor, because actors, you take on so many different energies to play characters. And so I want to make sure that whatever character I'm playing, that it's, whether it's stage, film, television, when they say cut, I can back out of it. And when they say action, I'm in it. So going to therapy has also given me tools to ensure that I'm not bringing any of those energies home with me. So begin reframing your narrative. Essentially, my cousin used to say, in terms of failure, she would say, people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. And that's something that's always stuck with me, because life is going to life and things are going to happen. We are going to make mistakes. That is just, now the severity of the mistakes and who they affect differ, but it's 9 times out of 10, it's not the end of the world. And so you do get through it, but it is the negative self-talk that will do you in. How you speak to yourself really, really can dictate what you manifest for yourself. So instead of saying, I messed everything up, say, I learned something I didn't know before. And that's very powerful, because I believe it was Maya Angelou. Was it Maya Angelou? When people show you who they are, believe them the first time. And so I relate that into this and saying, when you know better, you do better. There we go. And so as you come to a better knowledge of yourself and caring for yourself, you will lean more towards affirmation and positive talk than the negative self-talk, which doesn't mean that they're not going to be there, because even the most bubbliest people on this planet have days when they may be depressed or things don't go their way, and they're that little voice that says, oh, you're dumb, you're not good enough, yada, yada, yada. They still have those things, but it's recognizing that when those thoughts come, say, I know who I am. I may have made this mistake, but I'm not the sum of these mistakes. And so your comeback starts with your conversation. And so oftentimes the most important conversations that we will ever have in our lives begin with ourselves, before our families, before our wives, our husbands, significant others, our children, work people. What you speak to yourself truly, truly matters. Growth requires grace. I'm going to say that again. Growth requires grace. And while that is a powerful statement, how many times have we not extended grace to ourselves? Right? How many times have we beaten ourselves up for something? Maybe it's something that we did cause. Sometimes it's something that is a result of somebody else's actions, and we're the byproduct of said mistakes. I've had moments in my life where I knew I could have shown up to be better, right? I could have been more consistent. I could have said something differently. I could have moved smarter. There were opportunities that I missed, some big opportunities that I missed because of my own negligence, my own negative self-talk. I don't look like them. I'm not 6 feet tall. I'm not light skinned. I don't have the 6-pack abs yet. Just all these things that go through your mind. As an actor, you're putting on faces and different characters, and so you see yourself through a lot of different lenses. And so I had to learn how to give myself some grace and mercy, but really extend myself some grace. And like my therapist said, I'm harder on myself than even God is on me. And so if God's not tapping me on my shoulder for some of the mistakes I've made, there's no reason for me to keep beating myself up about stuff. And for a minute, I sat in the fact that I need to, again, give myself grace. You know, it is And by giving myself grace, I'm able to extend that to other people. Again, because we're all going through things at any given time. And sometimes you just have to be like, you know what? You're having a bad day, or whatever situation that person is going through is causing them to behave in a certain way. And so you honor that. That doesn't mean you let people walk all over you. I'm not saying that, but you honor that, and you give them some space, and you give them some grace. Sitting in regret versus growing through it, right? There is an importance of self-forgiveness. And I am getting to the point in my life where I'm learning to forgive the younger versions of myself. Some things I did without the knowledge, right? And as I've gotten older, aha moments like, okay, I shouldn't have done that, but I learned, right? And so all you can do is continue to grow from your mistakes. Here's a core truth in that you can't grow forward if you're stuck punishing your past. Let me say that again. You cannot grow forward if you are stuck punishing your past. And so, as an actor, as a person who is working in their entertainment journey and developing their entertainment career, actors face rejection constantly, right? And you have to develop thick skin. And one of the things that I've learned is when it comes to auditioning, you could be, well, let me say it this way. I had an audition in Philly a few weeks back for something that I thought I did pretty well in the audition. They seemed like they liked me, the conversations, yada, yada, yada. And I didn't get the part. And mind you, this at the same time, I'm in Fences, August Wilson's Fences. So I was already, doing a gig. Now, if it had been me 5 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, I would have taken that no as some godforsaken sign that I'm not a good actor and I need to, go back to class and I need to train and da da da. No, what I've learned time and time and time again in the business of entertainment, it could be just a matter of them deciding to go in a different direction for the character. And so what I've learned to do is that when I have auditions, I no longer have the survival mentality. I no longer have the, oh my God, I have to book this. If I don't book this, it means I'm not meant to do this. No, I don't do that anymore. What I do is I find my truth in the story, in the character, and in that audition, I play. In the audition room, that is me giving my interpretation of this scene, my interpretation of the character. And I do that and I leave it there, and it's not up to me. And so I've developed that confidence that the no's are not going to make me or break me. And there's a truth to the fact that there are so many no's. Even in life in general. But if you are someone who is in the entertainment space and you're an actor or a singer and you're trying to do anything that's just beyond local things, you're up against so many people, right? You're up against people who's gone to Yale School of Drama and people who've gone to Juilliard and people who have gone to the community college and people who haven't gone to college for it at all. And so you have to work to be secure in yourself. An artist, how artists fail publicly and in private, right? How many times have you seen your favorite celebrity go off the rails, right? You think they were this way, their image was this, and then they're doing some crazy stuff. I won't go into detail with some of this stuff, but you understand, right? And so growth happens through iteration. It happens through iteration. Even the people that we celebrate today have moments where things just didn't land. But that didn't stop them from building, right? You cannot allow someone's rejection or opinion of you stop you from achieving and manifesting your goal. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of its construction. Give yourself permission to rise. Some of you don't need another opportunity. You need to release the weight of what has already happened. What are you still holding over yourself? What mistake are you still allowing to have kind of rule over you? What mistake have you seem to just not be able to get past? Identify what that is. And what would growth look like if you let it go? Right? I've had to miss opportunities, right? I've had to let that go. It wasn't meant for me. Either I did my best and I booked it, I did my best and I didn't get it, or I half-assed it and I didn't get it, which means I'm not on my A game of consistency and commitment to doing the work. And then I got what I deserved, right? Stop replaying that moment of the failure or the missed opportunity and start rewriting the meaning of it, right? Take back the narrative. Understand that you are, how do I say this? You are, I know vocabulary, but I don't want to use that word. Just know that you have the tools necessary to be better, right? And if we can just be 1% better every day, that allows us to begin to let go and peel back and tear off those failures that may constantly be on the tape recorder in our minds, right? And so in closing, your comeback, the comeback is the story, right? Your story doesn't end at the mistake. That's just the moment where it shifts, right? Because anybody can fall, but not everybody decides to rise. And who you become after a mistake is more powerful, is more important, is more needed than who you were before it. This is Watch What You Say podcast. I am Beaux Emerson, and see you in episode 14. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You can catch us on Spotify, and we're still working on Apple Podcasts, but you can definitely listen, watch, download on Spotify and YouTube. Like, share, comment, send to your friend who's still beating themselves up over whatever that thing is. And thank you for being on this ride with me. We are 13 episodes in. And so, yeah. Love you guys.